Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to be sharing today's video. I'm setting up my November bullet journal theme, and this month's theme blew me away. Even though I knew what to expect, I didn't even expect the final results. This month I went with this really cool kind of monochrome black and white floral theme. And what I did this month is I went to the dollar store and I picked up one sheet of black poster board. It cost $1.25, and I cut it up into smaller, more manageable pieces like this. And I still have a couple of these left. Sorry, actually it was only $1. As usual, I will link all the products that I used in the description box below, so please do check that out. And now let's get right to it. I'm starting off with the cover page. I've collected all of my black and white pens here. As you can see, I have a lot, quite a collection going. And I decided to glue a whole piece of black paper on the left side. I'm using this new paper cutter that I got. I got it at a Japanese dollar store, and actually I wasn't sure how it was going to be, but the blade is super sharp and it cuts super nicely. I unfortunately only got this like halfway through my setup, so I wish I'd gotten it at the beginning because it's amazing, so much better than using scissors. Now I'm pasting in that black page on the left side. I'm going to use that as a quote page, but now onto the actual cover page itself. So I decided to do this sort of like mosaic or like grid of white and black squares, and just using my paper cutter to size these papers, and then I'm using this glue roller to glue each of the squares down. And then I have a couple that I've left white as well. I'm actually doing this page last. I've actually already completed the rest of the monthly setup before this point, and I do that sometimes when I don't have like an exact idea of what I want the cover page to look like. I like to do that because I get to kind of practice a bunch of different ideas all throughout all the weekly spreads, and then I can pick my favorite ideas, the things that worked out the best on the weekly spreads, and incorporate them on the cover page. You'll see later, but one of the weekly spreads, it's kind of a similar vibe with this like kind of grid mosaic of white and black squares, and I'm just incorporating like a mix of all of my favorite doodles that I did all throughout this setup. So you're going to see all these doodles in more detail as I do the weekly spreads, so I'm just like speeding through it on the cover page to give you an idea of what this month is going to look like. I just love how clean and sharp the black and white lines are, and I think it just gives such a simple yet elegant feel. For the first spread, I'm going in with my Jelly Roll white pen, and I'm going to be drawing these roses on this black strip of paper. I had a really cool idea that you'll see in a minute what I wanted to do on the spread, but I'm starting out by drawing these roses. They're actually so simple to create, and I think they just look so beautiful and kind of abstract too. And then I'm just filling in all the petals with lines. This pen, it's really great. It gives really sharp, crisp, and bright white lines, but it does kind of like catch a little bit on the paper. As you can see, some of the lines, I had to go over them again, but I'm really happy with how these flowers are looking so far. Let me know if you guys would like to see a separate tutorial on how I drew these roses. They're actually way easier than they look, and I think they just look so striking and so beautiful. So yeah, I'm just drawing out all the flowers. I'm gonna do 4 big ones on this page. I draw these roses a lot throughout this month's setup, and so I'm showing you in more detail here how I drew them, but I'll kind of go through it more quickly later on in the setup. So this one I'm filling in with kind of like concentric shapes or concentric lines to match the outline of the rose. This one I'm coloring with my white Faber-Castell pen. To be honest, that one didn't work out as well. I don't love the like white, it's not as bright and vibrant I think as the Jelly Roll pen. Now I'm cutting this out, and then I'm cutting about 1 inch off the edge of the spread. You can see I've prepared it in pencil already, but I'm going to be taping the roses that I drew to the edge and give it this really cool kind of like edge on the page. And that was my whole plan. Now on the other side, yes, that was a Tim Hortons gift card that I used to draw a straight line because I couldn't find my ruler. But I'm creating the habit tracker over on the left side, and I'm going to be creating the mood tracker on the right side. So I'm using my Pentel brush pen here to write out mood tracker in a calligraphy stroke, and then I'm using a very fine liner to write the days of the week. And for this month's mood tracker, I'm just going super simple using my Faber-Castell pen here, and I'm going to just create a calendar layout, and I can fill each box in every day for my mood tracker. I'm adding a few down here, and instead of using colors like I normally do for the legend for my mood tracker, I'm using different patterns. So there was like a solid fill, a dotted fill, a hatched line, etc. And now back over to the habit tracker page, I'm drawing these sort of like, I guess they kind of look like poppies. I just think they're so beautiful because you can see each individual leaf, and I like how it's kind of open, like that one that I just drew. So you can kind of see like the center of the flower. I'm drawing a couple others on top that are from a different angle, so you don't see the center, you're looking kind of from underneath the flower. But I like these flowers because they give a very like elongated and tall shape, and they're also very like minimalist. I'm using a very fine pen here and just hatching them, and I think because they're so long and thin, they give a very different look than the roses. So I think it gives some really good contrast to have these on the left side. This is also quite a different layout of habit tracker than I've ever tried before. It's more simple. I only have space for 4 habits this month, but I kind of like the look of these kind of individual circles, and I can just color them in on the days that I've done each habit. And I'm kind of liking this look. I've always done like a grid or kind of calendar shape. So yeah, I'm really excited to try out this habit tracker. I actually don't own any washi tapes somehow, and so I kind of created my own washi tapes here with the black paper on the top and bottom. And now on to the weekly spreads. For the weekly spreads this month, I decided to do these tabs, so every week is going to have a different tab, and I just have to cut out a little bit of the paper, and I'm gluing this black paper on the tab and then writing the week in the white pen. So on the right side, I'm going to have the first week of October, which is a short week, only 3 days. So on this left side, on the back of the black paper that I had on the other side, I'm going to add some space for like notes or goal setting and that kind of thing. So I'm drawing these like little wildflower doodles. I think these are just so cute, and I'm drawing them in a line. I think they work really well with the white pen on the black paper, just so simple little doodles. Underneath that, I'm writing live life in full bloom. A little bit cheesy, but I think it's so cute, and I love this lettering font that I'm doing, just a really simple calligraphy stroke. I think it works perfectly for that page. Now I'm setting up the weekly spread. I've written the monthly layout on the top. And then I'm adding the strips of paper here because I'm going to write the days of the week on that paper. And I'm doing a sort of quadrant layout here. So I'm going to have the 4 days on this page, and I have my to-do list on top. I'm carrying out this lettering throughout my theme. I think this sort of like calligraphy stroke, but without the heavy downstroke. So every up and down stroke is all the same width and same strength on the page. I think it just looks so cute, kind of doodly, but also kind of elegant, and so I'm really loving this lettering for this month's setup. So on the left side of the page, I'm just using my glue roller tape. It's so convenient. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend. I got mine at a dollar store. And then I'm gonna cut out this top piece of paper, and I could have just glued it down, but I decided to draw this rose and kind of leaf on top, and I think it just adds something a little bit extra. On to the next weekly spread now, the first full week of November. And this was a weekly spread I saw on Pinterest, kind of inspired by something I saw on Pinterest, and I really wanted to give it a go. So I'm drawing 7 boxes, 3 on the left and then 4 on the right. And then I'm adding this sort of drop shadow with my black brush pen to the right and below each box. And then I'm adding some numbers here. I've done this style of sort of numbering and lettering before, really love it. So I'm just adding the numbers in a sort of heavier brush pen, and then I'm writing the days of the week directly on top with my finer fine liner. And I think it just gives a really elegant but still quite minimalist and simple effect. Then I'm going in with my fine tipped Faber-Castell fine liner, and I'm going to be drawing those same roses that I drew earlier in the white pen. So I'm going to be drawing a few of these roses all over this page, just kind of decorating the blank spaces between the boxes and just carrying this rose theme all throughout this spread. One thing that was driving me absolutely crazy as I was setting up this spread was that space on the left. If you see where I've cut the page, and so you can see all the other pages in the back, it was driving me nuts, and so here I covered it with a black paper, and I feel so much better about this spread. So the first week doesn't really have a tab, it's just on the back of this paper. I think this looks so much better, and I don't see kind of the messy cutouts and pages on the left side. For the third weekly spread of November, I really wanted to do an all black page at least once in this month's setup, and so I covered the entire spread with black paper, and I decided to do a vertical layout. So I'm gonna draw 4 boxes on each side, but leave some space still on each side for doodles. As you can see, the white pen, I mean, it's great. It does give really nice sharp white lines, but it does skip along a little bit, and you kind of have to like be patient and trace over it. But anyways, I've drawn out 4 boxes on each side, and now I'm using my Staedtler metallic white pen. This one actually I really did not like. As you can see, the white is just not very bold, and no matter how many times I went over it, I couldn't get that strong white color, so I do wish I had used my Jelly Roll pen instead over there. I'm going to be drawing the poppy flowers on each side. They just work so well in this kind of tall and skinny space. So I'm drawing a few different ones, kind of like I've drawn before. I have the sort of the open one where you can see the inside. I have the more vertical ones, drawing some stems, and I'm just trying to mix it up and draw like a variety of them. I love the kind of balance between realism and abstract and doodles on these flowers. I think they look a little bit more realistic than the wildflower doodles I did previously, but not totally realistic, still a little bit like doodly and abstract. And I think by hatching the leaves as well is another good way to bring a little bit more like abstract and whimsy to the spread. I'm adding a few of these dots. I think it just kind of fills the space really nicely, and then I'm going to be doing the same thing on the other side. As you can see, I'm trying to write the numbers in those white circles now, and it just doesn't work that well. So yeah, I don't love this part about it, and I do wish I had used a different white pen instead. I don't know if I'm actually loving the all black spread as much as I thought I would. I think I had really high expectations built up. I do really like it a lot, but what do you guys think? Now moving on to the next spread, I have the tabs set up already here, as you can see, and then you can see the black paper behind it, so I think that just looks so much better now. For this spread, I'm doing something quite similar to the cover page. I actually did the cover page last, so I did the spread first, and the cover page was kind of inspired by this spread. But this was yet another thing that was sort of inspired by some stuff I saw on Pinterest, some different ideas there. I'm going to link my Pinterest below, so definitely feel free to check that out. I usually link my inspo below so you can check out some sneak peeks for my next month's setups. But I'm just laying out some different boxes. Some are going to be white, some are going to be black, all over the page. Some of them are going to be for the days of the week. This one's going to be for my to-do list, and I'm going to put some little doodles in the other boxes that remain. And so this is a great way, I think, to tie together a lot of different elements. You can do a lot of small doodles and kind of separate it out, and I think it just gives so much visual interest, and there's still plenty of space for me to write for all the days of the week. Kind of running out of ideas at this point. There was like a lot of different doodles on this page, and I was kind of running out of ideas for like cute quotes or things to write. So yeah, growth, I don't know, it's pretty cheesy I guess, but I just put it on that one. And I'm adding some more of the wildflowers. I added a dandelion here. I wish I thought of this idea earlier in this monthly setup, because the dandelion is just so cute and actually so easy. Let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see a proper tutorial on these different wildflowers and different doodles, because they were way easier than they look. Now to the last weekly setup of November. The last week of November is only 5 days, so I decided to do this layout where there's sort of like a large bar of doodles across the center of the page, since I don't need as much space to write, since it's only 5 days. So I'm doing more of the rose doodle since I didn't do many roses on the previous weekly setup, and I've just sped it up here since you've seen me draw these a bunch of times already. But yeah, I'm doing a mix of the line hatching as well as the concentric ring hatching as well. I did it on the other page as well, and then I was going to leave it like this, but I thought it was a little bit boring. So I'm taking a black fine liner and I'm going to draw a box around the roses, but I left a little bit of space so you can see that some of the roses and the petals sort of stick out of that box. And then I'm going in and coloring all the blank space in between the roses. I think this really turned the spread up a notch. It just looks super polished and yeah, so clean, and I'm really loving the kind of stronger black in the background. I'm just dividing the page now to put the 5 days of the week, and the spread is done. For the very last page, I want to have a notes page, and I decided to add a gratitude section to this month's setup. So I'm cutting up the black paper because I wanted to do another sort of more black paper. I have so much paper left of this poster board, honestly. I could have done a lot more, but yeah, I'm pasting it now onto the back page. I also love how thick and like solid the paper feels. Like when you open the papers that have the black paper attached, they just feel so kind of like cardstock almost. It gives my journal a really nice feel. So I just trimmed the edges so it fits my journal perfectly, and I'm adding the gratitude section in this black bar on the left. I'm really glad I left that white space in the middle of the page. I think the full black page was a bit much. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, so I like this page a lot better with the white space. And I decided to do those poppy doodles again because I think they work so well for the sort of tall and skinny space. And I wanted to do this idea, I saw it yet again on some Pinterest post, and I just really liked the idea of sort of having a doodle that kind of carries over from the white to black space. It was quite annoying actually to draw this because I had to keep changing between my black pen and my white pen, so it was a bit tedious, but I think it looks so cool how it's sort of carried over from the white to black. So yeah, I'm just drawing all these poppies again, just like how I drew them on the habit tracker page. It's this exact same drawings. I'm just adding them here and finishing off this spread. Now I'm going to add a few leaves. It was really tedious having the leaves that crossed over from the white to black, so I'm relieved that these ones are just on the white part of the page. I'm adding a little bit of grass and on the black paper with my white pen as well. And then I'm just adding a few like these little dots here to kind of emulate, like, you know, when the dandelion, it's like the wind blows through. Yeah, just a few like small leaves, etc. in the background. And now on this last page I have my notes section, but I really liked what I did on the first spread where I had the space that I'm going to leave for like goals and stuff. So I'm drawing these roses yet again, as you've seen many times now, on the top, and then I'm cutting out the top of this page, and I'm going to be gluing this on that page right there. So I'm going to write notes with my brush pen, the same calligraphy font I've been using all throughout this setup, and then just pasting that down on the last page. And this is the final flip through. You guys, I'm so thrilled with this month's setup. Genuinely, I think it may be my all-time favorite. It's just so clean and simple, and I'm just so happy with how it turned out. It also was not as difficult to set up as it looks, so please do let me know in the comments if there are some tutorials you guys would like to see. I would love to share with you how I did some of these doodles. And that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked watching this video and watching me set up this theme as much as I'm so in love with this month's theme. I cannot wait to be using my bullet journal, and I had an idea. Instead of using a black pen to write in it like I normally do, what if I used a colored pen? I think that could look really cool against the black and white. What color do you think I should be using? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, that is all for today. Thank you guys so much. If you liked watching this video, please hit that like button below. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and I'll see you next month. Bye, friends!